what you do to me, like lightning when I'm swimming in the sea. From the very first time we loved, from the very first time we touched, walking on wires and power lines. You put your body on top of mine. Every time that you lift me up to the heaven and stars above.
Oh, Lord of mercy, I'm begging you, please. I'm feeling drained, I need love. You charge me up like electricity. Jumpstart my heart with your love. There's an energy when you hold me, when you touch me. It's so powerful, I can feel it. When you hold me, when you touch me. It's so powerful. There's an energy when you hold me, when you touch me. It's so powerful.
Some fantastic shots coming in from yesterday's action from Trentham. A very good morning and welcome to weigh-in. We were treated to 2 Group 1s in a stakes race yesterday, and what a day it turned out to be. I'm here at Trentham, as you might have guessed, and I'm joined by Bevan Sweeney. And Bevan, as I said, we were treated to a fantastic day, weren't we?
Yeah, good morning, Em, and good morning to the weigh-in viewers. Yes, it's one of those days, no matter who you are, trainer, jockey, presenter, trackside crew, strapper, breeder, those days you just hope live up to expectations. And I think the stories that were told yesterday around Salsa Fe, around father and son taking out the Group 1, really lived up to expectations. So I went home with a really warm feeling after the races yesterday.
So did I. It was there were some great stories coming out of Trentham. We'll find out a little bit more about those later on. But for now, let's have a look back at that first Group 1 on the card. It was the Telegraph.
Montage will complete the line. Opie Boston. And we're nearly ready for the Telegraph. Stand by. Dreams are made and shattered here. We're racing up in the Telegraph and caught them fairly well. Going back Evelina in the early part of the run, beginning quickly. Winter Bride, he's pushed it forward, but Speedy Mead is going to take it on and head it, and Julius right there. She's All Mine comes forward, a little wider out. The Precious One behind them, and Enzo's Lads flushed a bit. It is Enzo's Lads still in front. On the outside, Avon Tales trying to get to him. She hasn't quite get there, but now she does. And Avon Tales on the inside, he's brave. Enzo's Lads bring it, getting to third, but Avon Tales will win it. Avon Tales will win it and win him brilliantly. Enzo's Lads.
Opie, you've enjoyed a really successful relationship with this horse, and that second last time, I know you were pretty confident today.
Yeah, she took a lot of improvement out of that race, and Jamie and the whole team had her spot on for today. Galloped her on Tuesday morning, and it was first class, and when Festivity came out and won like the way she did, she galloped with her, and I was very confident.
Things weren't sort of going to map out the way that you wanted. You had the wide draw, horses have been winning from the inside, but what was going through your mind, and then how did things unfold as you expected?
I just had no plan, really. I jumped out and Jamie said, just don't be last. So I ended up getting actually quite a nice run. Got cover, wobbled around the junction a little bit, but no, she's just too good. She's a little sweetheart.
Did you always know you had Enzo's Lad covered?
I thought I had got him easy, but then to his credit, he kicked again, so no, it was a good race.
Something that not a lot of people may know, and something that I was made aware of from my friends at Channel 7, is that you now are in the top 50 in the world of most Group 1 winning jockeys ever. How does that feel?
Oh, it's pretty cool, really. Maybe I might try and make it to the top 30.
Well done.
Right, thank you.
We just spoke to Opie, and Opie had said he thought you had you covered, but then Enzo come back. He said he is really a competitor, your horse.
Yeah, she put a good half length on me, and then he's come back again. I thought I might get her again, but well done to the winners. And so I can't speak highly enough of Enzo. He's done a super job.
Was a really good edition of the Telegraph. We had all of those top line sprinters here yesterday at Trentham, and Avantage ended up coming out on top. Bevan, it was, we were talking about it whilst we were watching that vision there. Everything sort of mapped out the way we anticipated. I had big concerns for Avantage pre-race.
Well, I think punters across the land had concerns going into the race due to the fact that the track was playing up and in. Clearly across the program, inside, on speed, was favoured, and she was never going to find that position. So we were a little bit nervous about where she could get to from that draw. Opie gets really good cover. As we expected, She's All Mine comes across. Speedy Meaty is in the trailing position. It was a great ride, Michael McNabb, to go from his position to get into that leading position and find a kick. Julius found the position. Jason was positive again, and he found the right position, but gee, she's run 31 and change home from the 600 metres. This is a devastating turn of foot from a filly who was probably off her game early on this season, and we're going to speak to Jamie about that when he comes online with us very, very shortly. But when you look across the program and what happened on the race day, this was one out of the box because we didn't really see any runner come from back in the field. She managed it. She's a handful, Em, from what I saw in the birdcage and around the place. She's a bit of a handful for Jamie and team, but she's back. That's what we got from yesterday, and I did hear reports out of the stable they were very happy going into yesterday where possibly they weren't in previous times, and she was dominant yesterday, and that was a very good win in a serious race.
It was, and the way she let down, she just really hit the line so strongly. The man of the moment, Jamie Richards, he joins us on the phone now, and Jamie will say a very good morning to you.
Morning, guys. How's things?
Pretty good for us down here at Trentham, and no doubt you're feeling pretty good this morning as well. A really satisfying win with Avantage, and I'm sure you're really relieved to have got another Group 1 on her record and also to have her back at her best. Yeah,
for sure. We well publicised. We had a bit of a frustrating spring with her, and a couple of things didn't go right, but she got back to Te Akau stud and had a good break, and you know, we've been really pleased with how she was coming up. She trialled beautifully at Avondale. Thought she was going to be very hard to beat at Ellerslie, and she ran into obviously a pretty talented filly that we had to give quite a bit of weight to, or mare, and yeah, she'd improved out of that, and everything looked pretty good apart from the barrier yesterday.
Jamie, let's just go back to the prior preparation when you went to Australia. Was it just mare issues, or was there a little bit more around why she wasn't quite at her best when you took her over to Australia?
Just, there was no soundness problems or anything like that. We had a pretty hard run at Ruakaka first up, and then we sat outside the leader second up, and I just couldn't work out why she wasn't firing, and we backed her up and tried to ride her off the speed, and she wouldn't relax, and we just had to pull pin and start again. So full credit to the owners for having a bit of patience with us, and you know, we repaid them yesterday.
Okay, Melody Bell, you've got another champion mare in your stable. She's a little bit different, Jamie. She's got an attitude, and is that what makes her so good? She's tough, this mare. Just seeing her walk around the birdcage here, and she showed that on the racetrack as well.
Yeah, for sure. She's got all of those good qualities that fillies have. She's very strong. She's built like a colt. She eats like nobody else, and she's really good to train at home. But when she gets that saddle on, gosh, she's very hard work.
She looks really hard work, and we saw you strapping her yesterday. You were certainly earning your keep after that performance. But tell me a little bit about the first time that you saw her, Jamie. What stood out to you about her, and what made you buy her?
Well, we went to the sales and looked at her there, and Dave was really taken with her, and we've had great success with Fastnet Rocks. And she was out of a stakes winning Zabeel mare. She wasn't very big, but she was very strong. She didn't have any 2-year-old form in her family, funnily enough, but the big thing that I remember about seeing her at the sales was, I think this filly could be a really good 2-year-old, and you know, thankfully everything's come together well, and Dave backed his judgment and brought her on spec and got her home and syndicated her amongst some great clients of the stable and Te Akau, and you know, it's all worked out really well.
Jamie, you've got this remarkable record with these two-year-old Karaka Million winners that go on to be so successful. What do you put that down to? Because that's not an easy thing to do, to be able to have them up and running at 2 and then go on and win a Telegraph over 1,200 metres later on in their career.
Yeah, I think that the record that Tiaka has, long before me, is that most of these good two-year-olds do come right again at some stage. They might miss a year, like Marufi did, and come back and win a Thorndon, but we don't put any pressure on our horses. We like to educate them in the spring when there's a bit of easing in the ground so that they don't go shin sore. I had a great grounding with Steve. He taught me so much. He's a wonderful trainer of young horses, and it's all worked out really well. But I think first and foremost that the winning post is in the sales ring most of the time, and you've got to buy the right horses.
Jamie, yesterday I got a distinct feeling that you feel as though you didn't see the best, or we certainly didn't see the best of this mare in Australia last preparation. Do you really feel as though there's some unfinished business with her going over back to Australia?
We'd like to think so. We haven't had a good chat today this morning. We haven't put anything in concrete. We're going to have a bit of a look at the program tomorrow and a bit of a team talk like we do on Monday morning and work it all out from there. But we certainly believe that she's up to that class, and she showed that in the autumn. So it'd be good to go back over it at some stage and hopefully show the Aussies of what she's made of, and try and get a Group 1 in Australia for her page, and it makes her a very valuable commodity.
It sure does. It makes her very, very valuable indeed. Jamie, it turned out to be a pretty good weekend for you, and that kicked off on Friday with Cool as a Beal, a horse who you've been targeting the two-year-old Karaka Million with, and it must have been really satisfying to get that next win on the board and secure your slot in the big race.
Yeah, he's a really nice colt. We've had a lot of time from the first time that he we put a saddle on him. First time that he trialled, he won his first start at Wanganui, and we've had a bit of a frustrating run of little bits and pieces with him. Nothing major, but he's just popped the temperature a couple of times through immaturity and bits and pieces. But thankfully we've got him on track, and we've just got to wrap him up in cotton wool for the next 6 days and get to the big race.
We are just 6 days out from the Karaka Million. Is that a concern for you, the fact that he is going to have to back up so quickly?
I don't think so. I'm not a big man for backing up horses. For one reason or another, it hasn't really worked for us. But this is the sort of horse that can handle it. He's full of beans coming back from the swimming pool this morning, and he's eaten well through the weekend. So I think we're on track, but we've just got to give him a little bit of work there during the week at some stage, and get him up to Ellerslie on Saturday in the best possible condition that we can.
Okay, Jamie, we saw the Shark out at the trials in behind Catalyst recently. Your thoughts and the progress out of that trial?
He's going really well. It wasn't about racing Catalyst at the trials. It's just about having a nice day out, get him a bit of a blowout and get him home and eating and doing all of those sorts of things, and he's done that. So we were going to wait a little while and give him an exhibition gallop at Matamata on the 2nd, leading into the Wait for Age sprint. But we just decided to bring that forward a little bit, that exhibition gallop, and just give ourselves a little bit more time if we need to get a little bit more work into him. So he will go up to Ellerslie on Saturday night as well and have an exhibition gallop there. Him and Melody Bell will both work. They'll work separately, and that should just tidy him up nicely for Te Rapa.
Of course, the voting is open for the All-Star Mile, so I imagine the stable is encouraging everyone in the country to get online and vote there. Can we just get an update on Chelsea's condition after the fall, Jamie?
Yeah, Chelsea's just got a bit of a sore hip. Maybe it stood on her or something like that. Legs are good. She's got feelings. She's got a bit of a dead leg still, but all in all, she's got out of it pretty well. And I think with a couple of weeks rest, she should be good as gold.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Jamie. And once again, congratulations for your Group 1 winner and, of course, the win with Festivity as well.
Thank you very much.
Jamie Richards there having a chat after his victory in the Group 1 Telegraph yesterday here at Trentham. Let's have a look and a little listen to what the beaten jockeys had to say in behind Avantage.
Wouldn't be denied, would he?
No, isn't he unreal? Took the speed right out of the race. In an awkward spot from the gate, and they took the speed right out of the race, so I thought I'll get going. At the 350, I was fair dinkum flying on him. and he hasn't stopped, and he's kicked back. Just what an outstanding horse, you know. All credit to him.
Yeah, great run. Got back sort of near the inner, had to jostle out probably a little bit halfway down the straight, but she's rallied really hard and she's found a line good. You know, she's got a good wicked turn of foot over the last furlong.
Look, I was very proud of my horse. He's very courageous. I think he's just feeling the effects of 3 hard runs now on hard tracks. First trip away from home, he's a little bit lost. It's a real funny run race. It was quite yuck. But look, he's run forth. He's gone super. Carry weight for age. I'm very proud of him. He's done a fantastic job, and there's still more to come.
Obviously not the result I wanted, but it was a bit of quite a muddling run race. She jumped quite well, but just never travelled as well as I would have liked him behind the leaders. And when they slowed up, I was able to get off and follow Julius. He never really took me anywhere, but at the same time, I wasn't going good enough and copped a bump at about the furlong, and she rallied again to run 5th. So, like I said, not the result I wanted, but she acquitted herself well.
Yeah, it was an honest effort. Got the runs when I wanted, but he just couldn't quite quicken on the firmness of the track today.
I had a good chat to the connections of Winterbride yesterday, and they are heading home. The horse is going to head up to Hanui Farm for a couple of weeks' spell and then back to Australia for a break before tackling Adelaide. So they got a Group 1 placing. They didn't get a Group 1 win. Outside of that, Bevan, what have we learned out of the race?
Well, I think, I've been through a few trainers. I rang John this morning, or texted John this morning, Julius Woolhead to Te Rapa. He was very happy with him this morning. Endless drama. They couldn't get the tongue tie on. Yes. Out in the setting store, and they couldn't get it on around the gate, and he just fluffed the start again and got one position further back, but he was okay. He will, in theory, head to Waikato as well. Michael keen enough to go to Waikato with Enzo's lad. Sensei had no luck in the race at all, got well back, and that took him out of the race. What else can I tell you? Spring Heat will go to the King's Plate on Derby Day, and look, Craig copped a fair old suspension yesterday, and he deserved to. When you watch the vision back, he came right across heels, and the Precious one was put in a very tight position. So, yeah, he'll have to spend a little bit of time on the sideline, but the horse did run home beautifully, and the sectional for Spring Heat was very good. So there's a lot more in store for her as well.
There is, and I feel like we've got a number of horses who are going to go on and sort of Group 1 winners in waiting as we progress forward. Let's progress now on to the next Group 1 that was on our programme yesterday. That was the Group 1 Thorndon Mile. We'll have a little look back. It was a front-running effort by the Mitigator.
The Mitigator, they went back last start. I'm convinced they'll go forward this time, and gee, that win 3 starts ago on 133 stamps him as class.
It really does, yes, and he can take all sorts of running down, and the way this track is running, if they plant him up there, he can be hard to drag back. The Mitigator. It's the Mitigator in front. Mongolia Marshall, wind spell starting to knuckle down. Shadows cast out wider. Yearn over on the inside. Still the Mitigator in front. Wind spell a length away. Yearn over on the inside. The Mitigator wind spell unmissed. The Mitigator!
How proud of Dad are you right now?
Yeah, no, 3rd for me, but 1st for him, and a Group 1, you know, it's always a great occasion, and you know, for me to give it to him, it's real great.
Yeah, well, this horse was absolutely trucking out in front. Must have given you confidence on the bend when Sean just slipped him a little bit of extra rein.
Yeah, when we look over his shoulder, I thought he's obviously confident, you know, because quite often he just lets them go and they don't really have a look, and he obviously quite confident to have a look, but very long straight to be confident because they keep coming. It was nice when I seen a couple sitting up on him early, started to get under pressure before the corner, but then you just don't know where you're going to come from. But nah, it was a good ride, and he's a good horse, and it's just, yeah.
Go Sean Mackay, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels super, you know. To win a Group 1's a dream, and to win a Group 1 for Dad's even better.
Yeah, this is a special moment. We got tears from Dad earlier on, but this family moment, this will go down in the album, won't it?
Yeah, well, you know, it's every jockey's dream to win a Group 1, and to do it for a family member, it's super.
You seem to be travelling so well out in front. Just tell us about how well this horse was going for you.
Yeah, well, today I've been running on front, so, you know, it was ideal for him, and he travelled sweet and kicked it on the corner, and awesome effort to the horse. He's done a great job.
I can imagine it was a pretty stressful watch for the Mackay family. He was holding on, Bevan, and it really was that kind of a day where it set it up for a horse like that. But fair play to him, because he's hung on really, really gamely. Yeah, fair play is the right word. The track played beautifully for this particular horse, but he took every advantage, and he was good enough to take advantage, I think, is the key. Sean rated him beautifully.
In front, Yoon got in a nice position from that draw, as did Windspiel. Rock on Wood. Well, he gets checked and down the back straight, so that that took him out of the race. Shadows Cast was a real neutral ride on him, and he did fly home late. But look, at this point, he takes a lot of catching, as we saw 3 starts ago when he ran that exceptional time. One thing's for sure, he's never going to be ridden back again. This will be his program for the remainder of his life. Windspill was great again, tried very, very hard. Shadows Cast out wide, but gee, Rock on Wood, if he'd seen daylight, he probably would have won the race. You can never say for certain, but he was flying late and he never really saw clear air. But look, it's another great racing story, father and son. This horse is bought by Trevor, I understand, for I think around about $60,000 to be sold at the ready-to-run sales. Now, they didn't sell him, so he rang up Pete and said, can you put a syndicate together to mitigate my losses? And that's where the name came from, the Mitigator. Yep. So he's now a Group 1 winner. Sean's a Group 1 winner. The combination, father and son, mum, you know, it's one of those wonderful stories, And like to get his first Group 1 for Dad, that's just a wonderful thing. The hard luck story is Rock on Wood. Windspill went great, Yoon went fantastic, and Shadows Cast. So those serious horses were right in the mix.
It seems like we're in a climate at the moment here this season where there is so little separating our milers. At that distance range, I mean, Windspill easily could have won. You had Rock on Wood, Group 1 winner in waiting. Yearns put her hand up and said, actually, I have the ability to be here. It's a very even play at the moment. Yeah, well, the open mole should be like that, and that's how they went across the line. The track helped the Mitigator, but as I said earlier, he had to have the ability to take advantage of that, and he really did under a nice ride. Perfectly trained, perfectly positioned, and he took advantage of that. So I can only tip my cap to Pete and Sean and the family. It's all about family for the Mackays, as you could see in the aftermath interview, and it was one of the wonderful stories on the day. It was, and I can imagine celebrating with your family is so wonderful as well. Let's have a little listen to what the beaten jockeys had to say in Behind the Mitigator.
Oh, what a horse. He's incredible. He's probably the smallest horse in the field, and he's gone down ahead to the Mitigator on a track that's really, let's be honest, it's been a real leader's bias, and it's favoured him, and he's come back from midfield, and he took a small gap in the straight, and I never felt like the winner, but he got so close. So what a cool horse.
Yeah, very happy with the run. Got a beautiful run. I was a little bit worried turning him home. I was actually gone and sort of had to scrub her along a little bit. But when the gap opened up, I really flew through it and I thought I was going to maybe get there, but just missed out.
Had a nice spot early. 1400, just copped a bit of interference and we've just been pushed back a slot. But coming to 200, 250, I've just given a wake-up call. And just the two in front of me have stopped and I've been boxed in, but I was lucky enough probably to get out was when I did and get going, but just unlucky.
Yeah, got back a little bit further than anticipated. Just got quite tight down the back, and I've lost a spot. So start off with us a bit further back. He's come into it good, and he has rounded off good, but it was just hard to make up ground.
It was a good run. He had every chance. He had a beautiful run. They probably stacked up a little bit across the top. They weren't going very quick, and probably just had to make his run. He's got quite a short sprint, so it would have been nice if we could hold him up a bit longer. But in saying that, he had his chance.
So what does that do to our Herbie Dyke Stakes market? Here's a little look at it. You've got a number of horses there who've closed quite considerably.
Oh, well, Lover coming over, first and foremost, is exciting. Bowden is an up-and-coming emerging stayer. I spoke to Leanne this morning. She's not saying for sure, but I think Rock on Wood will be up there at Te Rapa at $7 on the rocks for sure, goes there. I spoke to Jono this morning. He thinks Windspill more than likely goes to Otaki for the weight for age, so just bet with a little bit of hesitancy there. Also the Mitigator, I just got a text from Peter Mackay. His suggestion is that the Mitigator might go to Otaki as well for the weight for age. So just a couple of things there. Justin Mays, I spoke to David this morning, more than likely out for a spell at this point. So again, another little thing to look at when you are assessing this particular market. Shadows Cast, I think, more than likely will head to Otaki as well. M and Yoon. The big target there is the Te Araha race. They're not sure exactly how they'll get there. Might be a quick freshen up and a run into the Group 1 there at Te Araha. And that's about all we've got out of the race at the present moment. So that Herbie Dyke market, just take note, there are a couple of runners in that market that may bypass there and head to the Wait for Age at Otiki.
Great information, Bevan. Thank you for that. Let's move along to our other stakes race on the program, which was the Desert Gold Stakes. We thought it was going to be a two-man war against Loire and Jennifer Eccles, but it didn't prove that way.
Not many to load forward for this year's New Zealand Bloodstock Desert Gold Stakes at Group 3 level over the 1600 metres. Very important for that pedigree page. Here's T. Leighton.
We are set. And racing here, Cinzento was slow. Grandiflora went back. Porotini, Charm and Jennifer Eccles also go back. Showbeal won the start. Queen Kamada goes forward. Celine Leon is going right around the outside. And Celine Leon on the inside. Queen Kamada, Trifolium and Showbeal really quickly went up and claimed the lead now. Out wide, Jennifer Eccles starting to come home. And Loire is coming with it as well. Showbeal, Jennifer Eccles and Loire in the middle and Belle Plaisir, but down to the line, Showbeal. Showbeal will win. Loire second, Jennifer Eccles and Belle Plaisir.
She was good. She jumped, put herself in the race, travelled beautifully and had a lap full of horse turning in. Every time I give her a click, she'd just give me just that little bit more.
We know Murray loves winning these staying races. What do you make of her as a stayer?
Oh, she relaxes beautifully. She's no problem her running over 2,000 metres.
Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Thoughts, Andrew?
Oh, very good run. Obviously, she's always shown us this sort of quality. She just hasn't had a lot of luck. The draw cost her last time. She just covered too much ground and had no chance from out there. And from a good barrier and a good ride today, she showed her class.
It's Group 3 place, came up against a couple of Group 1 form today and then beaten them. Must give you confidence going forward.
It does. She's the filly on the way up. You know, like obviously the other two have performed at the highest level, but I think she's got a lot of upside.
What's next for her?
Look, we'll just get her home and probably have to go to the Sir Tristram fillies and hopefully head toward an Oaks.
Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you.
As I said before we showed you that race, I really thought, Bevan, that it was just about Jennifer Eccles and Loire. I thought they were too good, but then you get Showbeal adding another piece to this puzzle, which is the depth of our three-year-old fillies.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great ride by Opie. He stole this race at around about the 400 metre mark when he took a couple of lengths on the two horses out wide. The horse did a great job itself as well. Opie didn't have to do a lot to find that forward position, and from there, with the way the track was running, he clicked her up and she found a couple of lengths. So she's an emerging horse where you've got the two serious horses out wide in Loire and Jennifer Eccles.
Take nothing away from them, Bevan, because they were huge as well.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So they're right in the right spot going forward to a Sir Tristram and then on to the Oaks. Showbeal emerges out of this race as a serious contender. I love what Loire did late in this race, was finding again, so she looks a real Oaks prospect. Belle Plaisir for Lucy Tanner was a good effort. It had every favour in the run and maybe just a length off those top 3M, but as far as I can tell, those two outside will go to the Sir Tristram. Talking to trainers this morning, we heard from Andrew, probable path is to the Oaks as well, and Belle Plaisir more than likely will head up to it's the Oaks Prelude at Taranaki over 1800 metres. So the first four with the focus on that particular race.
I asked Opie in the post-race interview if he thought that she'd stay Showbeal, and when I checked her pedigree last night, she's related to Zagada, and her second dam is a South Australian Derby winner, so I think there's no doubts about her staying a distance, that's for sure. All right, that was the Desert Gold. Let's have a little listen to what the beaten jockeys had to say.
Just had to go back a spot further than what I wanted to earlier. Just going to have to push her to get up and around Parksy to hold a decent spot, back off a slow tempo. She was super to the line. Looking forward to the Oaks.
She's let down very, very strongly, but just because they've gone a sedate tempo, she sprinted very, very hard at her top between the 400 and the 200. Probably just wasn't as strong the last 100 as she has been, but if she draws an alley, gets a softer run, she can posse up a bit closer, she's going to be competitive. The thing is, she's relaxing very well, so 2000's not going to be an issue with that. It's just whether or not she can get that 2-4, but she's going very well.
Had a nice run and she's found the line really well, and I think she's going to step up to 1800 at New Plymouth now.
It was an extremely good run, a lot of merit, and she just probably went a little bit strong early, but fought hard and fought to the line. She's still, I think, developing, and she's going to actually, I think, in time win Anne and the owners some really nice races because she's got a lot of talent.
thought she went a really nice race, Aiden. Stuck 3 wide the whole trip, which isn't ideal first time over a mile, but she handled it really well and battled on really well for 6.
So that was the thoughts of the beaten jockeys in that stakes race from Trentham yesterday. Grandiflora was a horse that caught both of our eyes, Bevan, pre-start. Didn't have the best of luck.
Yeah, didn't have a lot of luck. She was quite short in her prelim, and we heard before the race that Robert said she jarred up post that prior start, so maybe she's just feeling the firm track conditions. Others with maybe an excuse and keep a watch on. Yeah, Queen Kamada, she's got talent. She just went a little bit strongly in the run. Shinzento pulled up sore, unfortunately. Trifolium never got on the track and actually raced quite nicely, but I think if you analyse that race 3, 4, 10, 20 times M, it's sort of going to filter back to the top 3 going forward.
A horse I hadn't even considered, which I was just thinking about now, Too Illicit, is another filly who's on the rise, who is heading towards that Oaks Path as well.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt our boys are good this year, and it looks as though our girls are very good this year. I know there's a bit of hesitancy out there around a lot of form pundits about how our 3-year-old races are being run with that tempo and being a sprint home, and you head over to Australia and they just run their 3-year-old races just that little bit more solidly early, which may pay at the back end of races for our New Zealand fillies and colts when they go. I'm not 100% sure. I think they are up to the mark in Australia, so I'm just waiting for the flush of 3-year-old boys, especially at this stage, to go to Australia and show their wares.
And we've got some pretty talented ones to put there on the front line as well. Now, the darling of the Trentham Carnival is the Wellington Cup, and we were treated to a beautiful story this year. Salsafe, the winner.
200 metres to go, and Marita, here's Kiwi coming right from the back of the field and getting up on the inside, and Marita takes the hand. Marita in front, going to the line. Kiwi may have picked it, Marita. I won't place them. It's a photo finish, dead as far as I'm concerned.
It's Salsafe in the Kiwi colours, down to the 350 metres. Excalibur the outside tries hard. Artiste looking to try and sprint at them. Kate Mueller-Fulcher getting through in the middle, and then Tom's out of the pack starting to charge. And the Good Fight getting through on the inside. It is Salsafe in front. On the outside, Tom's. The Good Fight over on the inside. Salsafe's in front. And Salsafe wins the cup in the famous colours.
That was a fantastic win, Trudy, and absolutely well done. The horse was getting tired in the closing stages, and there's a slap on the bum from your daughter. Well done.
Oh, she was entitled to. I said I didn't get a great one. She got stuck out, but left in front, turning for home, so it was very brave.
It was brave. Talk me through the run and how things went for you. Did they go as you hoped?
Not at all, actually. I was hoping to be forward and I couldn't. Got stuck 3 out. Wasn't until we got down the back that I sort of got a back drag up from Sam Spratt, 3 wide train. Turning for home, she was travelling super. But like I say, it was a good run because it's a long straight to lead in, so she's tough.
She is tough. What about doing it for the girls as well? Jamie and you combining, it's a girls' Wellington Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, that makes it much better, doesn't it?
It sure does.
Jamie Lee Lupton, a Wellington Cup, how special is that?
Yeah, it's pretty thrilling, you know, after Snowy did it with Kiwi, it's lovely for me to do it too.
You watched the race with Bevan Sweeney over there in that area. To see him go in front and kick like he did, what's that like watching that unfold?
Yeah, it was great. She had a trouble-free run in the fact that nothing was falling back in front of her, and she's had that the whole way through, you know, just run into trouble the whole way, but yeah, she's been really, really good.
Yeah, how hard is she to train?
She is a bit of a cripple, and yeah, I spent a fair bit of time with her, so no, it's good, you know, she never goes a bad race, and she tries really hard.
Racing's all about great stories, JT, and here's another one with the colours of the wonderful and great man Snowy Lupton, carried to victory in this year's Wellington Cup by his great granddaughter, and look out Waverley.
What a wonderful story we were treated to in the Wellington Cup. And Bevan, from my position sort of over the far side of the track, I don't get to appreciate how tough of a run these horses have had. And Salsafe was one of those that really did it at both ends.
Yeah, I'll just correct myself. Not granddaughter. She's not that young, Jamie Lee Lupton. Look, I went back and watched this a few times last night. This is an immense effort. I know Jamie said trouble-free run, but she was actually sitting next to me in the run going, oh, no, 3 wide. And it's just never really done that you sit three wide over 2 miles. Trudy's very honest in her appraisal of the run she got. She only got cover down the back 3 wide on the going forward train, and you just thought when she got to the front at the top of the straight that she had to stop, but she has shown tenacity throughout her career, and that's exactly what she did here. The Good Fight was unlucky, just got pushed back through the pack in the run and had to come through them and get to the inside and found nicely. Tom's has gone brilliantly. KG Miller-Fulcher has been forward and hit the line okay, Excalibur okay, but when I analysed this I thought, well, can I make excuses for any other horse in behind her? The Good Fight possibly could have beaten her, but if she got any run in the race, then she looks the obvious winner. She's run the 3rd fastest last 600 in the race, being 3 wide the trip.
Presented early as well. She's she's been a sitting duck up the straight really to be mowed down, and she has been. She's stuck her head out.
And it's funny the emotions of a trainer. Jamie was sitting there. She was pretty flat after about 1,800 metres, 2,000 metres with the run.
Yep.
She pokes her nose in front. You think, well, she's going to get run down here surely, and then as she was just rolling along, things changed pretty quickly. Look. Solsifay is named by the owners. I think they're involved with Soap, and it's a combination of Soap and the horse being out of the Solvig family. So that's the reasoning behind the name. Kiwi wore 12. This horse won 12. Being the granddaughter of Snowy is just a wonderful story, and yeah, it was a special moment on the day for sure. I think she might go to the Auckland Cup as well.
Oh, so
There's a possibility. Yep. She'll get a little bit of extra weight, clearly winning a race like that, but yeah, it was another lovely story that came out on the day, and we finally got her to talk on TV. A-Rod broke through that wall.
And maybe that's the start of something now. She takes out the Auckland Cup, have to do the same, but she's not a simple horse, is she? She takes a lot of management, so it's really full credit to the team to be able to even have her here today.
Yeah, she is a bit of a cripple, I understand from Jamie, but she feels as though she's as sound as she has been this preparation. Look, she went all the way to Christchurch. She won a great race in the Metrob, and then she pulled up with sore feet, so she brought her home. She's given her 1 run in the Martin Cup into a 2-mile event, so it is a great training performance. Going through runners in this particular race, exactly where do they head? As I mentioned, Solsifay, a possibility to head to Auckland. D&G actually came up with some cuts on the front legs after Johnny Lincoln passed back through the field. She will be okay, speaking to the team there, but she did come out of the race with a few scars. As I said, just amazed, more than likely a freshen up. Tom's Emma is keen on the Auckland Cup, but she needs to give the horse a run of that way of going, so the Avondale Cup possibly on the target there. Excalibur to the Auckland Cup. The Good Fight, not 100% sure there, possibly the Auckland Cup. But they may just put the horse aside and look to Sydney and Melbourne in time. KG Miller-Fulcher will have a freshen up and go to the 2,400 metre event here in a couple of weeks. So look, I think many of these runners in this year's Wellington Cup are going forward into the Auckland Cup, which is a good thing. I like to see that natural progression of our stars through our features.
Yep, we look forward to seeing them presenting themselves at their next outing. We're going to get you off to a break here on Weigh In, and we're going to leave you with a few races of the undercard, which also provided some real treats.
Little between them, Festivities given full bore by McNabb now and put up a length on O'Charm. Running on Magnolia Man is starting to hit the line really well. But the favourites, home and dry first of the day, and Festivity wins and wins easily. Fibonacci's got a nice break here. Sort of fire on the outside, a couple of lengths away. Otavio is fighting on. Fibonacci still in front. Sort of fire starting to knuckle down, but Fibonacci weaving through the field. Platinum Raiders trying to come with her. Here we've got over on the inside Peloton, Iron Eagle getting a split late, and Owen Patrick over on the outside, and Cinerama's trying to dash at them. They hit it. Oh, maybe Owen Patrick.
Feature day at Gore yesterday. We had the Gore Guineas on the programme, and let's take a little look back and see what Lightning Jack in an impressive performance.
Homeward bound here, Miss Federer. Live Drama's out and after it. Over the outside of those to Burgundy Rose. And a bit further out on the track then is Tears of an Angel coming hard after those. But bursting to the front is Live Drama, the closing stages. Sanctify flying. Live Drama, then out wide, Lightning Jack and Bronte Beach with big runs.
Close photo, cameras off the line. Davey doesn't know, so we'll stand by for the call from Brendan Burke.
Result of race 8, the Legoland Gore Guineas. Winners number 3, Lightning Jack. Second 9, Live Drama.
Calvin, what a finish, what a run.
Yeah, I've probably said a few months ago he's probably the second best horse I've ever trained, and I still believe he is. He just got so much maturing to do yet, but yeah, he's got tons of ability. Honestly, he's untapped there.
Hey, what a day. Trainer told me this horse working really well. It's been a few weeks since his last start, and yeah, I was just trusting my trainer, and yeah, the horse went so hard.
Must be hard to put into words the success you've been having over not only this past week, but over the entire season as well.
Yes, definitely. I really appreciate all the owners and trainers who put me on, and only good horses can do this, so I really appreciate it.
Was a thrilling edition of the Gore Guineas. Lightning Jack literally came like lightning and ended up getting up to score. It could have gone either way on the line, Bevan. It was pretty tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, as a 3-year-old race in this country, it was run really, truly early. There was a couple of good rides in the race. Live Drama, perfect ride from Terry, has just gone down a short margin, and with that speed that allowed Lightning Jack out wide and Bronte Beach to fly. We're going to talk more about Kozi Asana, but can he balance one up? Just love the way when you see the head on, he sort of feels for the horse underneath him with his legs. The horse becomes more alert and then he balances up and just builds momentum. He's flying, this young man, and that horse got home really strongly. We've heard the thoughts from Kelvin that this is probably the second best horse he's ever trained in his mind, so there is more in store for sure. Bronte Beach was good. Live Drama had a beautiful run and was right there, so that was a very good effort, and they'll be happy the connections there. But I can see a fair future for the first 3 in that race.
Yeah, you can, and it seems like Lightning Jack has a bit of maturing to do as well, which is always a good sign. It's going to progress on and sort of fill into its body. Let's have a listen to the beaten jockeys in behind Lightning Jack.
Oh, a beautiful run from the filly. You couldn't be more wrapped with her effort, and look, got a beautiful run. There was plenty of speed on. It was quite a nice, clean run race, and like I said, we enjoyed a really nice run. Got the split on the corner, kicked good. Thought it would hang on. Got beaten the last ride, but yeah, great effort from the filly.
Got back off a solid tempo, hit the line very strong. Going forward to Dunedin, she'll be a very big chance, and yeah, happy as.
Got midfield, free back the fence. Got the split at the top of the straight and has worked home really good. You know, looking forward to a bit more distance now, and hopefully she can get the job done next time.
So that was the thoughts of the jockeys in the Gore Guineas. We leave one Jack and we head to another Jack as we take in the Gore Cup.
Got to accidental offside. Here comes Wild Jack. He's coming after them, and he's coming after them very quickly too. Wild Jack races up on the outside, put the ring around Wild Jack.
A great story named after your son as well, and has done the business today.
Yeah. Didn't expect it. But, he's been a bit of a sleepy Joe over the summer campaign. But, you know, horses for courses. He's run some good miles, so Gore's sort of like that. The 2000 here is a bit like a long mile, you know, because they're up on the speed. And I think if you're out the back, Charlie, today, you're a goner, you know.
He's been working very well at home as well, and my boss said he's going to put him in the 2000, but I'm a bit worried about that. But he ran very good last time, Walker White, yeah, but he ran very good today. Bit
of a surprise to his trainer, Wild Jack, but still a lovely win, Bevan.
Yeah, Sleepy Joe got his name back. Wild Jack was at his very, very best yesterday. It was another very good ride by that young man. He had this horse positioned up beautifully in the run, and when presented, it showed a very good turn of foot. Sataris is a nice horse, so to go past it like this suggests he's not quite so sleepy as we may have expected. He's put them away in a couple of big bounds out wide. It was a nice effort by the third horse as well. Sataris did a lot of the donkey work and they ran along okay. So that was a good, nice effort. If you back Jack, you got rich yesterday. If you've backed Cozzy, over the last 2 meetings Cozzy's been out, you've made an absolute fortune. Maybe we'll have to make up a tag line for Cozzy the way he's going in recent times. But that was a nice effort going forward, and the racing out of Gould was really good yesterday. I thought the track race really, really nicely with speed and the tempo, so all credit to the team down there in the south.
Speaking of Cozzy Asano, we head to a break, but we leave you with his 8 winners in a row. I don't think this has been completed very often, and in a tweet from Jason Tan yesterday, I think Joe Moreira is the only person to have ridden 9. So he's in some elite company. Let's have a look at our leading premiership jockey.
But down to the line, Cozzy Asano will win with Aquila Star. Getting down to the line, Tuppence. Tuppence, another for Cozzy Asano. And Richmond on the outside, trying to get to it. It is trying to lift, but down to the line, Nubian smiled with a grin. And Cozzy Asano make it 4 straight, a magician. Kate Blanco is flying. He's done it.
He's my brother, Barabbas, the outside, starting to nail it. Barabbas beats He's My Brother. Sharp and Silver holding. Sharp and Silver beats Cabernet and Beneficial. Ombre, Poniard's wheeling it in with every stride. Here's another, and Poniard.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on, go play.
Tiakau Shark will track Catalyst through, and down the outside Tiakau Caliburn, and then Glorious Ocean, but Catalyst at the 100 goes through his gears under Troy Harris, and he just loves to win this pony, doesn't he? He strides away nicely. Tiakau Shark, lovely work in behind, then Duck Road Green Hero. Glorious Ocean's made nice ground in the home straight. Tiakau Caliburn and Henry Hudson.
Every time I see him, I am mesmerised by Catalyst, and how good was it to see him back on track at the trials last week. And in behind him was another Cox Plate place getter in Tiakau Shark, and it makes the mouth water, doesn't it?
I'm like you. Every time I see his action, I just think, wow, he's a good horse. He's shown that to us already, and he's clearly coming up really nicely for Clayton Chipperfield. The Shark was just behind. He was just there for a day out. He'll come up quickly, and of course, we've got the All-Star Mile not far away, and the voting is open, and I can only encourage people to get on, line up and get as many of these Kiwi horses in the race, sure him.
Because last year we weren't able to vote, but this year we are, and they've been really active in promoting it over here and getting us involved. So I think it's a really good incentive for us. Imminently, if you want to see these horses before they head over to Australia, get to Karaka Million Night. We just heard from Jamie that Tiakau Shark, Melody Bell are going to be galloping. Not only that, Catalyst kicks off his campaign. So if you're a racing fan, you want to see these top line horses, get to Karaka on Saturday.
You will see our 3 best horses at Karaka, at the Karaka Million on Saturday night. So if you, as you mentioned, are a racing person, you want to see the best of the best in this country, you're not going to see the 2 Tiakau horses in full racing action, but you'll love just going to have a look at both of them, because they're different, aren't they? Melody Bell is a little bit smaller, he's a little bit raw, she sort of dominates his space, he's just a little bit different. And then you'll see Catalyst, who, look, he's not one of those, he's not one of those horses you go, wow, look at him, but when he hits the racetrack, you'll go, well, make no mistake about it, it's going to be, it's a little bit special to have him back, because I thought, well, we won't see him again.
All I can compare it to is one of those big days in Australia, a Golden Slipper Day or something. We got 5 Group 1s, but this is for us. This is it. This is all of our best horses. You know, potential Cox Plate winner, Australian Group 1 winners, 10-time Group 1 winner. They're all going to be there. It's good.
Well, you can't have anything more. No. So if you want to see good horses, go along. Catalyst still be there in a racing mode on the evidence of that trial. You just want to see them performing like that, so it says to us that he's back, he's fine, everything's going nicely, he's got a decent sort of preparation ahead of him, so he wouldn't have been screwed down for that. But gee, you just fall in love with his action when you see him.
You do.
It's just incredible. And look, he'll give him a shake wherever he goes, won't he?
He sure will. Speaking of the All-Star Mile and its promotion, we had Greg Carpenter on track yesterday, and Aidan Rodley caught up with him.
Yes, with Greg Carpenter, the General Manager of Racing for Racing Victoria. And Greg, I know you're here to talk, to watch some great races today, but also to talk All-Star Mile. And I think the voting's open and you've had a little bit of New Zealand interest already.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so pleased to come back to the Wellington Cup meeting this year and deliver on my promise. I was very embarrassed that last year New Zealand Horse were nominated, but New Zealand racing fans couldn't vote. We've fixed that this year. It's the world's richest mile race, $5 million in prize money, but it's the race on the planet where people have the most fun. So it's great that Melody Bell, Catalyst and also Harlech have been nominated, and already after just 2 or 3 days of voting, Melody Bell's right up in the top 3 and Catalyst is in number 8 spot. So the top 10 horses by popular vote are 2/3 of the field, and then I've got 5 wild cards to make up the final field of 15 at Caulfield on March the 14th.
So the New Zealanders are already voting, but there'll be people at home watching on trackside. How do they go about voting?
Well, you've got until February the 16th to vote, so you can wait till Catalyst runs first up next week in the Mr. Tiz, or Melody Bell does another nice piece of work. You go onto the website, which is www.allstarmile.com.au. Fantastic website, colour pictures of every horse's profiles, live leaderboard. So as soon as you put your vote in, you'll see the vote for your horse go up by 1, and it's completely free to vote. And those people who do vote get to enter into a competition worth $500,000. So if you vote for Melody Bell and she's in the top 10, we'll draw one of those voters out. We'll fly them and their partner to Melbourne for the week. They'll have a lifetime experience on race day. And even if she doesn't finish in the top 10, you still get $10,000. If she wins, and you're Melody Bell or Catalyst owner ambassador, you get $250,000. So it's pretty good chances, and we saw some life-changing experiences with the owner ambassadors last year. And just the other incentive to vote, you don't really need any more incentives, but Racing Victoria is going to match every vote received with a $1 donation to the Victorian Bushfire Relief Appeal. Last year we got 140,000 votes. Wow. This year I'm hoping that we'll get more than 200,000, and I'm hoping at least half of those will be from New Zealand. So go onto the website, free to vote. You can win a great competition. You can support your New Zealand horses, or as I found out walking down the main street of Petone yesterday and talking to a shop owner, he was thinking of voting for Alligator Blood. So you don't have to vote for New Zealand horses, but I'd urge New Zealand racing fans to get behind there too, and get behind a really good cause, because we've been doing it tough in Victoria. The firefighters are doing a wonderful job. We've got to rebuild a lot of communities that have got race courses in them, and this is an easy way for you to have fun and add another $1 to that donation number to the Bushfire Appeal Relief.
And we really do feel for our friends across the Tasman with those bushfires, and we'll be doing everything we can to raise funds and awareness for Australia. We've got the All-Star Mile voting page there in front of you. If you didn't have time to note down what Greg Carpenter said, voting is open to New Zealand residents for the first time this year. February 16, that's a really important date. The website, www.allstarmile.com.au. You also go in to become an owner ambassador and win a share of $500,000. Bevan, it's a fantastic incentive, and even better that we're allowed to be involved.
I'm just going to correct Greg. He said you don't have to vote for New Zealand horses. You actually do have to vote for New Zealand horses if you're out there, because we want both of those horses in that particular race. Catalyst and Melody Bell, get behind them, get voting. We want both of those horses in that particular race, because they are major, major players. They are massive chances of winning that particular race. So forget about Alligator Blood. There's 1 million Australians that can vote for him. There's only a few of us. Let's get them behind Catalyst and Melody Bell and ensure they get in the race.
Oh, there you go. Bevan did the finger point and everything. He's serious. It's on. Mouth-watering lineup of horses in the All-Star Mile. You might have seen there Super Seth, Castelvecchio. I mean, it's going to be an incredible race. And yes, we want the Kiwis there. So as Bevan said, please, please vote for the Kiwis. For us here in New Zealand, it is a huge week week, and it's going to be a huge couple of weeks, in fact, as we build towards the Karaka Million this weekend. And then, of course, on the back of that, we segue straight into the Karaka sales. It's important, if you want to get involved at home, to take note of all those dates, because there's a number of functions and events to be able to be a part of in the build-up to the Karaka Million this weekend. And, of course, the two Karaka Millions with the 2-year-old and the 3-year-old makes it even more enticing.
It's an amazing night of racing. It's pure and simple, and for many people it is the highlight of the racing season. For me, my local carnival yesterday was very, very special, but this day has different facets to it, with the party afterwards and everything that goes on. The money is there for all of those people that have spent, hard-earned, at Karaka, and of course that kicks off on Sunday night with a few lights, and then we get into the 3 books. So there's a lot of great stories out of thoroughbred racing and the racing side of things, but there's also some really nice stories on the breeding side of things as well.
There is. It's a really important time of year for our breeders, and one stud master showed he's not just a stud master. He's very adaptable in all facets of stud life.
Westbury Stud General Manager Russell Warwick has found himself back on the end of a lead as he gears up for the Karaka sales of 2020.
Look, one of our stallion guys is overseas at the moment on holiday, and the other one had actually had a little mishap last week, so he said, can you step into the bridge? So I said, yeah, no worries. So we did the 2 horses today. Been a while.
And of course, you're no rookie when it comes to handling stallions either.
No, look, we're fortunate that as we've come through the different studs that I've worked at, that was part and parcel of the role, and obviously many stallions, not only at Westbury, but where I've worked previously in places like Blandford and Cambridge Stud and Highview and those sorts of places, a number of stallions over those years, and obviously the highlight of that was probably looking after Sir Tristram for 4 years.
Yeah, and so you speak of Sir Tristram, you've got a great grandson of his, and you must be pretty excited to be taking his first crop to the yearling sales at Karaka.
Certainly are, and they're just lovely, athletic. What we do in New Zealand, breed those good middle distance horses, and that's what they look like. Hopefully the expectation of buyers will be coming to buy Derby and Oaks winners by him, and he's left that type of physical horse.
Despite an impressive draft of 155 yearlings, Warwick says it's still too hard to predict how buoyant the sales will be.
Sales are sales at the end of the day. The days that you predict buoyant and sales and going to be very bullish, you fall flat on your face, and other times you're pessimistic about what the market's like and can be pleasantly surprised. So I don't think there's any way of predicting what it's going to be like. My view is that we've got a lot of nice horses, and I think nice horses sell wherever they go. So I think the reputation that New Zealand holds worldwide about breeding good horses, and we punch well above our weight, has to see New Zealand be a venue and a target for international buyers, and obviously our domestic people will back up a lot of that as well, and in some cases like Te Akau and the Go Racing syndicates and things like that, they've become more and more prominent at the Karaka sales. So looking forward to having all those buyers back, and hopefully putting the horses in front of them that will interest them.
And you can see on screen all the details of that sales coverage, where to watch and how to be involved and enjoy in our coverage of the Karaka sales and, of course, the Karaka Million on Saturday. That's it from us, Bevan. That's our hour done and reviewed Trentham. We've had a look at Gorham. We've had a little look at some mouth-watering horses you're going to be able to see next weekend. Yeah,
great to be with you, Emily. There's still one day of Trentham to come next Saturday. It's more of a low-key day, family day. So do come out if you get the opportunity. All the serious horse racing wise, head north to Ellerslie for clearly the Karaka Million.
They sure do. Let's say goodbye and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. That's it from us on Weigh In.